game, and it will come down to player skill if Bliss are able to get these advantages in the early game.
Well, let's waste no more time then. Let's load ourselves back into Summoner's Rift for day 3, the final day of Super Week action before we really come to that final conclusion in week 6, leading towards those playoffs. Team Bliss right now still looking to try and get as many points as possible to guarantee that upper bracket position. As for Mammoth, so close, hanging down in 7th. Only a point separating them between making the playoffs as it stands right now. Anything that could be taken away today would certainly make their life so much easier. Yeah, this is definitely a do or die situation for Mammoth. They need to start picking up these points. Even if it's only one, if they do go for the draws, every point will count for them to be able to qualify for the playoffs coming up, as they are in such, close contention with the likes of Fury and Direwolves, quite a bit far behind Ion on like the 4th place, but it's still doable for them. Kevy going for the early award means they're going to be able to see Goodo starting on the Raptors, which, what you want to do most of the time on these full clear champs, because you can cycle all your camps and then before your first reset, you can re-clear your top 2 camps, which can secure you that really nice first buy. Well, that is what I'm curious about as we start off this game, right? What are the junglers' intentions? Are we looking to try and rush to level 6 as quickly as we can to have that full power unlocked? Obviously, it really allows the Divide that much more lockdown potential. Same could be said then for the Morgana, having that extra layer of CC to link up with that Dark Binding. But as it stands, bot lane will be the focus, and Gunkrab on a very mobile champion as we continue to go towards that trend of forgetting about Ashes and Varuses. It's going to be a case of who can be more nimble, be it the Kaiser or that Zeri. Yeah, we're starting to see a lot more priority on those mobile champions, as you were saying in our yesterday's games, that you really like to see more mobility, maybe staying away from Aphelios and Jinxes, because there just seems to be so much engage and so much damage coming out of the game, and you need to be quite a bit self-sustainable in these fights. And as you mentioned, Team Bliss are looking to create some volatility in the early game, because Kevy would like to find an early gank angle if he can. He will not be able to clear at the same speed as Goodo as the game goes on. Mages, as they start picking up their items, will always be able to clear the jungle a bit faster, but Kevy's strength is his gank pressure. As we do get closer to playoffs, as I was mentioning, we get to see more melee champs come out, and I just think, when we start having more engage, it's just more, ease of execution and the ability to punish, missteps happening from the enemy team. Yeah, I mean, that refinement really is what we're getting at, right? Multiple games, scrims, you're getting to the flow of things, you've got regions to draw inspiration from, and obviously the ability to play around on multiple accounts to understand what does and does not work, with those new patches being in anticipation. And I'm sure that's sort of what all these players are looking towards, right? You also heard from Schoenfire last night with the new patch coming in place for playoffs, a chance to get ahead on that theory crafting curve and figure out what can I practice now to really garner that edge. Speaking of those 2 junglers then, as to be expected, Goodo continues to farm up a Storm, but Kevy, with level 3 and double buff, goes to the flash to be matched. Everybody comes together, and the Yone gets that first blood. And this is the strength of the, the new iteration of Yone with that fleet footwork. He has so much sustain in the early game. He's going to be able to trade, evenly with Prey Death. Prey Death doesn't have that same amount of sustain, so he gets to heal back up from, a 50-50 trade. Play for that dive onto Prey Death, and just a really nice flash by Kevy. Predator doesn't have enough mana for the Valkyrie, and that means that he falls down. Uh-oh, let's see though if Harry gets punished a bit of this one. Soul Unbound, snaps it back, Binding going out, sidesteps, a slow projectile, and from a distance, plenty of time then for Harry to respond. Kevy went for a little bit of counter jungling, but noticing that Goodo was there, does decide to turn around in the end. And they do get away with murder. Bivemva, meanwhile, topside, showcasing why he wanted this rumble so much, flash for flash. That overheated auto was so much damage, but he just needed one more. Yeah, we see Reneko will stay around. He wants to be able to eat this wave. Knows that Kevy shouldn't be on the map here, but Kevy's camps did start topside, so he's going to run back to the side of the map. If he does stay around, that might mean him getting doughed. Every single lane now taking an opportunity to try and get aggressive, all going the way of Bliss. Fantastic summoner heal, saving a life for Gunkrab. Absolutely clutched there and denying yet another kill. Really small margins at this point of the game here, Tally, but certainly making it that much more volatile, feeding to your point beforehand and making it so perfect for once Kevy ticks over to level 6. Yeah, and Gunkrab should feel quite scared here. I think Eldoric will feel quite comfortable going for a 1-for-1 here on the dive. We're going to go for it. Drake will jump straight into the back line there. It's going to be both AD carries that pick up the kill, but Voice answers back. The dive goes really sideways. Major overforce, and Mammoth find a W. Yeah, and that's just a really nice outcome for Mammoth based on the fact that Gunkrab lost double sums earlier. Now Violet also down his double sums, so there isn't really necessarily an advantage for them in the 2v2. And, with the Gunkrab finding those tier 2 boosts, going to do a much nicer job navigating, avoiding Eldoric's engage for the rest of this laning phase. suppose it's also worth mentioning as well for the sake of Biopan, but another game now we've actually seen of a Rumble being played without that combat summon of the Ignite. More and more teams valuing that macro pressure, saying that I can just win this matchup even without having the Ignite to try and cheese things across. So we'll have to see just how meticulous they can use that one, as Predator yet again is under so much pressure. When does he get to press Valkyrie? Has it already happened? Does Rail pick up the kill? Of course Aladoric does, but does he die to the damage from this turret? No, the CC not enough, especially when he's got full HP.
Yeah, and this is the strength of, you know, the Yone into these AD carries in mid. They just aren't that strong in the early game, especially the Cork. You know, we're used to seeing the Tristana being able to trade a bit more aggressively back into Yone, but he gets his first base, gets the tier 2 boost, which is like the main power spike for these, you know, Wind Brothers, and pairing that versus the tier coming out of Corki Predator is so weak, and that's why we see Corki's really going for these, you know, Ninja Tabby Rushes, Ruby Crystals, and just playing a much more scaling oriented build.
Yeah, I suppose the silver lining for the side of Mammoth is that their bot lane did get those kills beforehand. They've managed to zone away Violet for a fair portion of that wave as well. And that does allow them to continue to be proactive on their own terms. So they can say we can draw 4 members into the area and we can go for a very early first Drake spawn.
Easy as that, Timmy. Easy as that, just trading objectives. But, you know, we are looking at the top lane health values here, and this could mean lights out for Renekton. Doesn't have the flash. He's going to have to throw his ult out really early if he wants to be able to outplay this.
Equalizer, Harpoon 1, Harpoon 2, Flame Spitter there, and Kevy comes across and says, oh, I just want a bit of an assist goal. Picks up the killing blow. And now they can take a fair chunk of these turret plates as well, and ensure that this Rumble really will run the objective game. Meanwhile, Goodo, hot off that engage, is looking for a recall, then sees that Aladoric decides to pounce upon, goes for the Ignite, drops Guncrab low. Violet is the focus, and Violet will be the one falling on down. With no flash available, Aladoric is a sitting duck. And Guncrab, man, I mean, this is twice now he's been a fantastic bait to get all this action.
Yeah, and we're seeing the same mistake from both teams, Skimmy. You know, Renekton being a bit too aggressive when his jungler isn't near means he falls down. You're trading with Biopanther when he should be really valuing his health pool so he can avoid that die. And then on the other side of the map, no jungler for Bliss. Aladoric goes forward, initiates the engage, and it's just a very easy gank for Goodo with the flash, using the ult, and just picking up an easy 2 kills for his bot lane.
Easy as that. Both those carries then going to be feeling pretty happy about this one. Curious to see what build comes out of Guncrab, whether or not it'll be the Static Shiv Runons that we've come to know and love, where it just offers you so much control on the map to ping between those lanes and really allow you to have that constant threat on the map that, you know, where's this Morgana, where's this Leona, where are they going to look to try and attack us from? Especially when the objectives become the major focus. But as it stands, still, Team Bliss very much in control. Some sizable CS lead to talk about. Does allow them to be up by 1,000 gold.
Yeah, it's just the laning prowess we keep talking about when it comes to Bliss. They have the really I would say a very hard winning top lane matchup for Binary. You know, foregoing the Sorcerer Shoes to get these Leandries as fast as possible because he wants to really maximize that damage he's going to do Renekton in the 1v1 since he is a tank. And Harry is going to be very comfortable in this lane. And, you know, we think about both these lanes and how it's going to function going into the future, going into the mid-game. Once again, Bliss going to have 2 winning side lanes. They're going to have the hard engage tools from multiple members, and they're going to have a lot of options to be able to play this game now.
Which makes it so difficult then for Mammoth as to what is our best decision going forward. Do we look to always group up as 5 and try and draw Bliss away from these side lanes, or do we entertain those side lane threats and say, well, we're weak in the early phase, and we just want to try and hold our own and sort of like, you know, soften the blow as to how strong you can be pushing in those towers a little bit later on, because you can see what's happening to Renekton right now. Yeah, you can talk about those ornaments, but he's so far away. But Aladoric's not. He jumps in, followed up by the Killer Instinct, and that 2-man Magnet Storm really does get the party started yet again. And then phenomenal Summoner Heal. And they save voice once more.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter how well your comp functions with the enemy. When Aladoric flashes on your head and blows up your main carry, you know, Goodo falls down before he can even do anything. I thought the invade looked, you know, questionable by Bliss. They were showing on vision the claps coming out of multiple members from Mammoth, but Bliss just pulled the trigger, find that little bit, little avenue, little window to really abuse the fact the team was split up, and they get 2 easy kills.
Well, much like the rail kit, there is no tilt to be found here in that bot lane. Able to make sure that they can answer back with a vengeance and continue to be as aggressive as they are, despite the KD not looking as pretty as they would be used to. Still very much relentless in the mid lane as Predator just tries to hold his own with Goodo there to protect. But it's always looking, where's this rail? Because wherever it is, we're in trouble.
Yeah, I think this might have been blind. He just had an inkling where they were. He saw them walk around the wall just a little bit from Kevy, and he just pulls the trigger straight away, and it's just a really nice engage. If Goodo's engaged on like that, Aladoric can use the spear to, you know, shatter the Morgana Black Shield and deny that CC denial coming out of his champion.
Absolutely, right? And you see just the ability for them to not only, going with the Magnet Storm, but then the Yone ult, the Vi ult. Very hard to try and outplay that one, especially if Flash or any kind of mobility is not up and available. Gudo certainly has his work cut out for him as to when do I use that Black Shield and where do I need to be. Constantly hovering these lanes, and it does afford Kevy the luxury to basically say, I got the first 3 grubs, I'll get the next few as well. And that side lane question once more becomes that much harder to try and answer back to.
Yeah, Bliss had an inkling that something was going on. Kevy's getting a free objective top side, so this time they are going to respect the jungler being there. Give the push in the lane, and Godo's forced to recall because you can't really find anything there. Going to give up 6 grubs through Team Bliss, and this is going to be so scary for that team, especially if Violet finds a low time with this turret. He's going to pick up so many plates. Fire constantly getting pride on top lane. Harry's going to eventually get to the point where he can start hitting towers in the 1v1. And it's just going to be a lot of gold going over to Bliss.
It's going to be far too much gold. We're still another full 3 minutes of these plates remaining. This pressure just continues to ramp up against them. And I mean, at this point, given the health deficit in the mid lane, you're happy enough not even getting the kill. You forced him back to the fountain. He's got no teleport, so you get to continue your gold as well as your XP lead, and then get even more turret plates as well thereafter. By the focus, sidesteps on that Call of the Forge God, lightning crashes met, drops the equalizer, but the Solar Flare Sun just a little bit hotter, and it gets the kill in the end in a 1v4.
Yeah, 3 ults out of the enemy, and once again, I keep talking about the 6 grubs will be on Bliss side, and they are committing to one side of the map, which means Violet going to push this wave, going to hit the turret. He's going to get 4 plates for himself, which is going to be so big. Dragon going over to Bliss as well. Going to see if Bio does teleport back to the top lane, because there are no ults coming out of the Mammoth members, and I think he might be able to hold this turret.
Certainly seems to be the case right now as Alador just hangs out of vision, just waiting to try and see who would show up to that party. They still are very much relentlessly locked into playing this top half of the map. Kevy's been drawn down now and says, well, we're not allowing Reneko to have any fun on this occasion, so he looks to try and buffer away. Bellow's Breath there to cancel at the CC, but the Magnet Storm to follow means that you cannot escape our grasp. And he won't even look to try and find one of those grass stacks as he falls down in a heartbeat.
Yeah, easy as that. Bio is respecting the fact they still do have the Morgana ult. Paired that with Voice being able to tank the turret, it's quite hard to defend. So he's just covering the mid wave as Harry did base. So Harry's going to catch the top wave after the turret falls on his base timing. So now he has his 1-iron power spike. He wants to go to the side lane. He wants to be able to find these members from Mammoth in the 1v1 and really abuse his champion strengths right now.
And it's always interesting to me, right, when you have Violet up against Gunkrab, 2, storied individuals at once upon a time sharing game time on the likes of, AV. Then they became teammates with Gunkrab being a supportive partner for him. And then they go full circle and find themselves back in an AD carry matchup on opposite teams. So the lore between these two, they certainly had their fair share of time spent together. And it's going to be not only a battle on who can win for the points in the grand scheme of things, but I'm sure one of personal pride too.
Yeah, and this is the first time we're seeing Gunkrab have a good early game. Well, Gunkrab in Voice, they're finally having a good early game. We talk about how they keep playing these scaling. Bot lane is not really playing for the lane so much, but this is the first time they've locked in the strong Leona, pair that with a mobile AD carry, and Gunkrab just looks much better, much more comfortable, and he is leading the gold by such a huge margin, even when Violet did get those, 3 or 4 solo plates to himself.
Absolutely. It's phenomenal to see, right? Because when you look at their statistics across this split, it's been a very rough one for them. Stability certainly has been the key word that we've been putting as a label towards them, because the likes of both Gunkrab and Voice have some of the most deaths in this league. Been punished, been fallen behind, and made it very difficult for the rest of the team to try and pick up that slack. But on this occasion, as you say, they are the most fed members in the game. If this Zeri can hit that second item with that Runarns, then it's going to be so much easier for them to try and conduct what they do next.
Curious to see how aggressive Mammoth wants to be if they do recognize Kevy is not here. He's going to throw on the top side soon. 4 members are on the bot side, and this could mean, the Bliss bot lane needs to get this tower, and if they decide to contest or walk into the vision, it could be very dangerous for them.
Yeah, right now you can see them getting completely zoned away out of their own jungle. Very scary times for them. Who goes to the face check? Violet instantly cleanses out of that one, so that's the binding into the Solar Flare. Nothing sticking. Kill pressure has certainly fizzled on out. But all this time of them roaming as that death squad just gives Kevy so much freedom and opportunity to take basically anything on the map.
Yeah, we keep seeing Kevy, every time it's going to be pretty much an easy solo kill for Harry. He has the blade against, magic resist on. Quite a one-sided matchup on the side lane. So what I'm going to talk about when it comes to how strong these side lanes will be. Biopanther deciding not to, go to bot lane and throw down the equalizer. He's going to play with his team, focus on being this, 2-lane squad, and be his foot on the, foot on the pedal and use the aggression rather than, playing the weak side champion.
That is that side lane concern that you mentioned, because not only is it Harry with 6 grubs looking to try and take this one down ever so effortlessly, but with Kevy being afforded the chance to hop into the Herald, they summon a second wave of minions with the Void Mites getting rowdy as well. And then they say, you know what, we have an Aladoric, so they just pounce upon again, snap engage with the Magnet Storm, and instantly take out the Morgana. That's the one you need to be aware of. But Voice, how many times now has he got away on a sliver of health?
Yeah, he should just not be living there, but they're giving respect to Gunkrab. He does have the ult going. He can do a lot of damage, especially with the flash being available. They got what they wanted. They blew the flash. They killed the Morgana. Once again, Gudo not reacting to the engage out of Eldoric. He's just a bit too fast on the trigger finger, and he just takes him down. That's the power of the Rel into the Morgana, is you can deny the Black Shield and CC chain the Morgana yourself, which just really allows Kevy to be unleashed in these fights.
Let's run it back one more time here, as they have initially recalled on Vision, clear it on out, but that time being spent to clear the wall just gave Aladoric all the time to say, yep, it's our signal to go.
Yeah, and this is that. I think the equalizer from Bio is the main reason why this fight looked so one-sided for Bliss. You know, Gunkrab couldn't walk over that one and get in there and do all the damage that he has in his inventory. So it's just really well played by Bliss to engage and disengage really well as a core.
Well, worth noting though, at the 16-minute mark, it is Hayreet that's already got those 2 items complete, but as we saw before from that overall gold graph, it's Gunkrab still keeping up pace with him. He's hit that Runar's Hurricane, so certainly now Zeri is what you would say at near best so early on. So much wave clear, so much passive cleave when these fights break out, especially on a clumped up occasion. And I do wonder if Mammoth have enough threat to try and cause Bliss to split away from these lanes and say, yeah, we'll look at you for this next Drake. We'll contest you for when that Baron's up.
I don't really expect the game dynamic to really change until Gudo does find the Zhonya's. He is constantly being engaged on, and if he has to flash out of these fights, his champion is not really going to do anything besides just provide the Black Shield for Gunkrab or Praetor. I think when he does finally pick up the Zhonya's as a second, he does want to go for that for a second. If he doesn't, it's going to be a long time before these Mammoth members should feel comfortable to teamfight, because there's going to be collecting farms, scaling up, but that's not such a bad thing for the roster. There's so much scaling on this team. You know, they need to wait for the Ornn levels to come through for the ornaments. They need to wait for the, you know, the Corki power spike. We talk about like those three items when he really comes online, especially with the Mana Immune. He's going to be doing a lot of damage with his poke from such a, you know, safe distance.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we've seen Praetor many times now, a bit of an aficionado when it comes to trying to hit those waves and say, you know, team, just play safe. I'm playing my own game right now. As you can see him in top lane. Nobody there to try and answer back. He just wants to vacuum up as much as he can find and really rush towards that 2-3 item spike to make sure that scaling is a conversation and not just a, you know, a buzzword that we drop on cooldown. But either way, 18 minutes in, it is Bliss that are quite comfortably up in the lead with 4,000 to their name.
Yeah, and Mammoth should feel pretty comfortable with, you know, every lane besides Harry. They can manage, they can get Prior in mid lane, they can manage the Bio Panther side lane, but Harry is such a threat, you know, against anyone who matches him. Kratos and Renekton do not have the tools to be able to deal with this Yone, especially when he can constantly just keep trading his health for some damage on the turret, sustain it back up with the blade. Has enough damage and survivability to be able to escape ganks or trade 1-for-1. I just think he's a big threat. This team needs to, you know, try and figure out the correct answer for it now.
We mentioned some of the, you know, frustration or the nuance in terms of how do you lock down this Yone, right? He hits the soul on bound, he snaps it back, cancels out all that CC, and you just go, hang on a minute, why did we commit 3 ultimates to this champion when it can cleanse it on a basic ability? So it doesn't feel the best. But I suppose when we talk about objectives, is there a world in which you think Team Bliss, being as strong as they are, would say, let's do the Baron dance, let's entertain the idea?
Oh, absolutely. I think that there are windows where Harry can force multiple members to go to the bot side, as Engage is coming out of you know, Team Bliss already, and that is Gunkrab going down so easily, Skivvy.
Yeah, very, very easily. He went for the flash, but Kevy covers so much ground, even just with the basic punch flash. Got the job started, and Violet wastes no time to pounce upon his prey. Finds a very easy double kill. When we talk about how strong the Zeri is, well, the Kaiser is working his way towards that point of power too.
Yeah, and that's just how easy it is to engage. Bliss recognizes Mammoth members are split. Gunkrab up on the mid wave for no reason. There is no contest happening right now. There's no objective to really play around. And, you know, they might even go for the re and dive right now, and Kratos could be in trouble.
Ooh, very lucky though, because the Shedding Strike didn't connect, but Aladoric drops the aggro, the tower falls on down. Kevy goes back in! Oh, so close though with the ultimate out of Gudo. He might die as a result of Rogue City to try and facilitate that play. Harry rocks up and says, I'm the most fed one. You must take note of me. He finds a double, the Void Ticket connects. Renekton under threat, Call of the Forge God knocks them up. But that's about all that will happen. Gunkrab straight out of the base, looking at one target and one target only. and just peppers them down with so much damage. He found literally everything and more, and only to be disrupted by, once again, this pesky Yone, who is the sole survivor on this occasion.
Yeah, Gunkrab finds 3 members. Violet lives there with a sliver of health, so he doesn't get the Quadra. How soon can he get his Infinity Edge? Because, you know, this is the saving grace of this game. Because look how easy it is for Bliss to walk around as 3 and just, you know, play so aggressive and abuse these dives. You know, don't even have all of the engaged. Aldor disengaged himself, but they're still going forward, still abusing this. And this is what I talk about with the side lane priority scheme. They can just collapse and really abuse numbers advantage whenever they want. And Mammoth always needs to be thinking about where are the TP flanks, where are these side laners at, because there's just so much damage coming out of these flanks.
And it feels rough for them, right, in terms of you know, asserting a bit of a vision line. Where do we want to go? Do we want to still be planting it towards the objectives themselves, or do we need to really push back, drop deep, and understand that, yeah, because they control top and bot, mid isn't as safe as it usually would be, because you just saw how easy it was for the Yone to pressure wave topside, have that passively pushed to put some base pressure on and say, yeah, mid lane, that's an easy point for us to get even more of a gold lead. That 4K lead very quickly then grows to 6.
Yeah, and okay, Gunkrab does pick up his Infinity Edge, and a lot of people would think, oh, you know, the AD carry is stronger than enemy AD carry, why can't he get priority on with mid-wave? Well, in competitive, the map is a lot more important than just the individual lane. Gunkrab shouldn't feel too comfortable, you know, getting the priority in the 2v2 or 3v3 against Violet, because his side laners are much weaker than, you know, the enemies. And if they do collapse and use those numbers like they are right now, hovering around mid with multiple members, Harry with the TP in the back pocket, these fights can always be so valuable for Bliss.
There's no good standoff there with the binding not connecting on the target thereafter. It makes it difficult for Voice to say, do I actually commit to this or not? You can see those are the bruises. That's what we're not interested in. If it's a carry, it's all guns blazing. Go, go, go is the com. But held in this suspension of a 4 versus 1 split. They say, well, we'll go for the Baron. You can chase after this Yone, but good luck trying to shut him down. He's 5-0. He'll entertain this 1v2. You're confused as to do we go for this fight or not. The flash out of the ultimate. The blood shield popped. And he's going to look to try and do as much as he can. Well, one final bit! Oh, so close! So close! But can Bliss salvage it elsewhere? Yes, they most certainly can. They wipe the floor with the 3 members of Mammoth that look to investigate the purple worm.
Yeah, we're going to have to catch a replay about how exactly they fought out Gunkrab. You know, was it Aldoric? Was it Kevy with the engage? I think they had the tools with the Black Shield to be able to walk into that Baron. You know, as we do go into the replay, the members walking up, Aldork sitting on the flank, and he probably just finds a really nice angle onto Gunkrab, and once again, shatters the Black Shield, which means he's going to get CC'd, and he cannot do the damage he needs to carry this fight.
No, real unfortunate there, completely counted from a 5th pick, you'd say, on the blue side. That has really brought it all crumbling on down. Greedy are Bliss to say we go from the Baron to the Dragon. Can we still just 108? No, we cannot. But it will be a fight still that favors Bliss, as they were all in on that objective. Nice Void Seeker for Violet to get in amongst the chaos. And the Hex Gates to cover so much ground to make sure that these kill times, you know, down for 30 seconds, they're going to get so much done on the map.
Oh, they do get the Dragon, which means they buy themselves some time scheme. Look at Bliss's comp, they're not necessarily really good at sieging. They can't, you know, break the base comfortably. It's going to have to come from a dive, and you all know how scary it can be diving these inners, diving these inhibitor turrets. If you misplay, Gunkrab especially can take over these fights, and I think that they shouldn't really lose too much from this Baron buff itself. Probably, you know, one inhibitor or all their, you know, its last standing inner towers, and I think they aren't too unhappy with this game state, you know, only losing this much.
All it takes, though, Tally, will be one more kill. Somebody going down for another 40 seconds, be it that gun grab or Braid F, and I think suddenly you think, yeah, we can look to try and end the game with those 6 stacks or the Void grabs. They look towards Harry. That's not the focus, because then Kevy answers back. Their retaliation is stronger, their damage is better, and their ability to find the right target at the right time is that much more clutch. And they've taken down 4 members, and that one inhibitor that we were initially thinking very quickly is about to come 2.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're doing, Skimmy. They decide to progress. Gudo uses the Black Shield on himself, solo ults Aladoric, and the moment Kevy recognizes that the Black Shield is down and not used on Gunkrab, even though he has double summoners, he cannot outplay the Assault and Battery, and he goes down, and the moment Gunkrab dies, he can't do anything, and have to see, will Gudo be able to hold this with, you know, not so much left in his kit?
Kevy nearly dies to those Tormented Soils, but it's not to be. They forget their second inhibitor. They say, we found the Pex, you've got no wave click, you've got no chance to defend. And in 24 minutes, they assert dominance, as to be expected, in our first game of the night.
Yeah, and we talked about there wasn't really that, you know, easy way for Bliss to be able to get ahead besides their player skill, and, you know, they showed it this game. They showed the absolute, you know, player domination and player gap in multiple lanes this game, and just did such a good job in these skirmishes in the jungle and just snowballing their lead to an easy win.
a fairly convincing win overall. Certainly a few moments where you